So that's the problem, that people think if I speak good English, if I speak too fast, I would be considered as good communicator. We need to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect.
Correct.
Right? Even you are in a process, I'm in a process, that introvert cannot be effective communicator. Right? That is again a myth.
Welcome to the Ravinara Show. Today we have a guest who was an IT consultant by profession, having 17 years of experience, turned communication coach by passion since 2018. Till now, she has already helped 2,000 plus working professionals improving their communication skills conducive to their career growth. Being an IIM alumni and IT professional, she blends her knowledge and experience to serve her mentees. Her vision is to make India known as a land of dynamic communicators. So let me go ahead and give a warm welcome to Akansha Verma. Akansha, a very warm welcome to the Ravinara Show.
So thank you so much, Ravi, for inviting me on your show. And I know that this show is becoming popular because you have invited many people from different areas. So I am looking forward if I can contribute to this, to your audience, and I can get my expertise to this show. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for taking our time. And as I can see, your vision helping people to improve their communication skills. So let me get started with how did you get into this? Because I can see coming from the IT profession as a career, then suddenly turning it to the communication, and today teaching 2,000 plus mentees to improving their communication skills, and they are getting a great career growth. So how did that shift happen?
Sure. So Ravi, I want you to take back to my childhood because the story started from there.
Okay.
And so I am coming from a small town, not small town, but middle town, two-tier city, which is known as Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
And I've studied in government school, Hindi medium school. So you must be knowing that English is it starts from standard 5th. And we were learning A, B, C, D from standard 5th, where my cousins, my friends were studying in English medium, and they were having they were speaking in English, and I was studying ABCD at that time. So I unknowingly, I was compared. I was known as I do not know English, and I was losing my confidence, breaking my confidence. At that time, I realized that something is missing in me. And that time, English was a big thing for me, that if I don't know English, that is something which I am lacking behind with compared to my friends and my cousins. So, and especially when I enter into my corporate journey, that time I realized that it's not only about English. Communication is much beyond that English. Right, and it's a myth which we will talk definitely further. But that time I realized that if I really want to grow in my career in the corporate ladder, I have to learn effective communication. I have to know how to deal with people, how to communicate with them, how to express my idea. Because if I really wanted to grow in my career, I had to learn all these skills. And that was the realization I started to get. And that's where the entry, they say, right, when you are ready, the teacher appears. And that time I got my mentor, and he guided me throughout my journey since 2014. And since there, I have started the real communication, the exact effective communication. I started learning from there. So rest is history. So since 2014 till here. And when I started my journey, I endured my struggles. Then I realized that it's not only me. When I started taking interview of freshers, the people who are coming in 2018, 16, I realized they are struggling the same problem which I was struggling 20, 25 years back. Why? Because we belong to the same education background. Why? Because we have the same education system which does not focus on interpersonal skills, your people management, your soft skills, your communication skills. And that's where I realized the gap. And that's how it started my mission, that I'm going to help these people so that they cannot face the challenge which I could face, and they could not face the pain of humiliation or the comparison or the challenges which I faced in terms of my career growth. So that is how the journey started. I
Thanks
hope.
for sharing. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Akansha. Because when you were sharing that, you studied in a Hindi medium,
Yes,
okay, and till fifth standard. After fifth standard, that's when the journey started for you as for an English, where you can start learn as a basic ABCD. Now,
exactly.
I was thinking back that though I studied from an English medium school, but I never spoke a word of English because I was also nervous and I was not having an effective communication skills. And then I'm realizing that me studying from the English medium still facing this kind of a challenges, and I was able to relate to that pain like how it would be for you that after fifth standard when you got started,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So I know for sure the pain, it was very tough because it's quite tough when someone else is already ready with their basic English and you are still struggling, right?
exactly.
So how, like, now you have already shared, like, where you are coming from, but could you share, like, I can see so many people, right? They say that I know what to say, because that is how when we also got started, when we have to speak to someone in English, especially, or communicate in English. I know what to say, but I freeze in the moment. Why does that happen? And how can someone overcome it if they are also facing this kind of a problem?
Sure. And I must tell you, Ravi, that working as a communication coach, this is one of the most common challenges in communication. Like
Hmm.
people know, but they freeze because so there are two reasons. Okay.
Okay.
One I categorize as external and one is internal.
Hmm.
External means that you might have problem in language proficiency, which globally is known as English.
Hmm.
If you do not have language proficiency, you are out of vocabulary, you do
Hmm.
not find the right words, and because of that you get freeze, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you are not able to articulate the right structure, right sentences. Because of that you get freeze. This is
Hmm.
external.
Hmm.
But when it comes to internal,
Hmm.
it happens because your thoughts and your words are not in sync.
Hmm.
You might be thinking too fast, but you're not able to speak up to that speed. And because of that, your thoughts are over, but your words are not. Right? So you
Hmm.
do not have anything to say, and that's where you lose your thoughts. And if your thoughts are slow, but you're speaking too fast, and then you use filler words,
Hmm.
right? Because your words are over. So
Hmm.
that's why if you do not have sync between what do you want to say and
Hmm.
what are you exactly saying, then it's a problem that you get freeze, sometimes because of lack of words and sometimes because of lack of thoughts. So these are the two reasons. And if you say I can give the solution also. So the to solve this problem is
Hmm.
to channelize your thoughts. For
Okay.
example, if you're asking me something, you have to channelize, take some time. It's okay to take some time before answering the question.
Hmm.
So, somebody is asking you something, take some time, pause, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, as much as you want, and then channelize your thoughts. I want to say A, and then B, and then C, and that is how you order your thoughts, and then you start speaking. And then don't go too fast. People think that if they speak too fast English, then people will think that yes, you are a confident communicator.
Hmm.
It is not true, right? It is
I,
again
I was I was doing that when earlier when
yeah.
I was learning it. I used to think in that way. Yeah.
Exactly, right. So that's the problem that people think if I speak good English, if I speak too fast, I would be considered as good communicator. But this
Hmm.
is again a problem. And you have to channelize your thoughts if you speak that well. And most importantly, people should understand what you are saying.
Hmm.
Then only you are effective communicator. So that's the solution of the problem if you get phased.
Yes, because I completely, again, this is something which is, I am able to connect to this because I was going through literally these kind of a challenges. I know what to say, but I was not able to say. And also, what was happening is most of the time through my circle, or
Hmm.
maybe from the environment where we studied, though it was English medium, but nobody was speaking in English. So it was
Exactly.
kind of a Hindi language.
Yeah.
So when you are surrounded with those kind of a people, and then suddenly when you are going for a work, okay, after your college, and then you have to speak in English, maybe in an interview or maybe in a workplace. What I used to think is, I used to translate the Hindi to English. So, for example, if I have to say something in a sentence to answer that particular question, first I will take that what is it in Hindi, then I will start figuring out how can I translate it to English.
English,
So
yes.
it was, I don't know, was that in my case, or is this how
No,
normally
it is
people used
again
to
a
do?
common. No, so it's again a common problem. And people say, right, so these filler words are because they are translating in their mind.
Absolutely.
Right.
I
Yeah.
used to literally do that.
Ha. Right. So it is again a problem. And you were saying something I missed. You were saying about the environment, right?
Yes.
So, see, when we are in an environment, when there is a sudden cultural difference or environment change, then we want to prove ourselves that we are not less, right? And that's where we want to prove, and we want to show that I'm not less than you, and that's where we try to prove ourselves. If you can speak English, I can speak double than you. So that is how the speed comes, that is how the words come, that I can use better vocabulary than you. But these are just
Coming with some
superficial.
new unique words
Yes,
like
yes,
never heard of.
exactly. So these are just superficial level of communication. Communication can be effective with the simple words also. So yes, yeah.
Yeah. And how does like coming back to the surrounding, right? Because I see surrounding plays a very important and crucial role when it comes to you giving a space where you can be ready to do a mistake. Because for me, in my family, nobody was speaking in English. It's in Hindi or my own language, which is Tamil. Okay.
Correct.
In school, also, there is Hindi, no English at all. So, at this kind of surrounding, how can someone improve their English?
Okay.
Or, like,
The
effective
overall
communication? Yeah.
communication, right? So see, most importantly, we need to understand what which you mentioned very profoundly, that we need to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. You
Because
know?
we are feeling guilty about it. For example, if we did something wrong or we said
Yes.
something which was not right
Yes.
meaning, or they understood in some different way, we feel ashamed of. So it's better that I will speak in Hindi, not
Yes.
in English.
Yes. I always take example of Tare Zameen Par.
Okay.
If you see the movie, if you have
Yes.
seen that movie. So in that movie, he used to make excuses because he was not ready to accept that I have some problem. So I don't want to do it because I don't know. I don't want to say that I don't know it, but I would say I won't say it. I won't do it. The same thing happens with us. And it's not only about communication. See, our upbringing is like that. Our parents, our family members says that if you make mistake, you are a ganda bacha. You are not, you are
Correct.
a bad boy, you are a bad girl, right?
Right.
So वो हमारे दिमाग में इतना ज्यादा बैठ जाता है that we feel guilty to make mistakes. Right? And that's why we do not try to speak English whether we are making mistake or whether we are saying it right. Right? So that's very important, to get out of your comfort zone and be comfortable with making mistakes. That is the beginning of, first of all, whenever you want to get out of your environment and you want to try something new, you have to set your mindset in a way, or you have to shift your mindset in a way that you are ready to face any challenge, no matter what others are saying. So it's not only applicable to communication, but anything you are trying something different. So it is applicable in communication also, when you are coming from a different background and you want to try something new. So
Yes.
I think
So thanks for sharing that. So you mean to say you should not worry about any other people's opinion when you are learning.
exactly,
Right.
exactly,
Because most of them, they get stuck just because दूसरे लोग क्या सोचेंगे, लोग क्या
exactly.
कहेंगे,
Yes,
and
yes,
they fail to learn these kind of effective communication skills. End of the day, but end of the day, it is not harming someone else. It's harming their own thing. Maybe their in their career growth, or maybe if they had to get some kind of an opportunity, they're missing just because they are not able to communicate it very well.
Very well, exactly. And everything has a learning curve, right? You have to go through that cycle. Until and unless you will not be able to learn anything, leave the communication alone, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
it has a learning curve. You have to go through with that.
Yes, and you also spoke about like it's about the upbringing. So
Yes.
let me put a highlight on this particular thing. What role does this plays? Like when it comes to our upbringing, our childhood experience, or past failures, how it plays an important role and how it actually affects when it comes to towards a learning curve or maybe on communicating effectively.
No, no, Ravi. So it has a very crucial role. Our childhood, our past experiences have a crucial role in effective communication and, most importantly, building our confidence, right?
Okay.
Because whatever our beliefs are, whatever our conditioning is,
Mm-hmm.
it is coming through our childhood, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
anybody says, when you are 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 11 years, when somebody says, oh, you're not good, or you cannot speak well, और छोड़ दो ना, इंग्लिश बोलना छोड़ दो यार, तुम हिंदी में ही बोलो। तो वो जब चीजें हम सुनते हैं ना, तो वो सुन सुन के हमें लगता है कि यार, इंग्लिश इज नॉट माई कप ऑफ टी, right? Or communication, or I won't be able to express, or I won't be able to, I should not talk to people. And we stop facing the people, we stop expressing our idea, leave English alone. We are not able to express our idea, we are not able to communicate even in our mother tongue. And that is how we start becoming introvert,
Yeah.
right? So that's the problem is coming because of conditioning, because of the faith we have, because of the childhood past experience, which converts into our fear, phobia, public speaking phobia, the most importantly. Why? Because sometimes people are like, kids are ready, they are very energetic, they are very extrovert, and they are ready to go on the stage. But few children are not like that, and when teacher push them to go and speak on the stage, and when they see people, the audience, then they have this phobia forever.
So you mean to say, let's suppose a past experience of a child when he or she was been pushed to the stage where he was able to speak a word or poem, or it can be anything, or maybe sing a song. Okay. There are two scenarios now over here. One is everybody gave a round of applause that, hey, well try, kind of a thing.
Exactly,
How
yes.
the confidence will boost for the this kid, and the other kid where like because of that particular audience they started bullying that particular kid, or maybe they said, hey, you failed, or maybe the teacher scold that particular kid that, hey, you just made us ashamed of not speaking anything on the stage, or maybe the parents who was sitting in the audience and they start scolding. So how it is going to affect? So do you think this will have an effect of that particular child for their adulthood as well?
Yes, 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 very much. Because the child does not know how to have the self confidence. When their parents, when their teacher, when their the peer, they say that, oh, you did great, then only they feel the approval. They get the approval. Okay, I did something good.
The confidence
It
starts go
means
high.
the
Go high.
confidence starts building, right? So if they say, oh, you are a bad boy, then they think that I'm a bad boy. Oh, you did well, then they think, oh, really, I did something good. So that is how, since childhood, like 3, 4, 5 years, your confidence, your self boosting, your self motivation gets started by approval of others. Because at that age we do not know what is self confidence, what is self approval, what is self love, right? So at that time your surrounding helps you to build the confidence. So that is why the childhood conditioning, belief, your faith, your fear builds up at that age. Yes.
So it's very important. It's kind of the thing is happening, but we don't know what is happening. Like self confidence or self worth or like self esteem, everything can be boosted or it would be turned down as well.
The most of the time it can be turned down because of your negative experiences, and it takes a hell lot of time at the adulthood, if you want to try change your experience, and that's where I use NLP techniques with my trainees. Because NLP helps you to remove your past experiences, conditioning, fears, and that is how you can change your mindset or shift your mindset. But it takes time, and it is workable or doable only when the people are ready. The person who is receiving it, the recipient is ready. Many times they are not ready, they are not accepting their problem. So that's the thing, that which can be changed, but depends on the person who is receiving it. So it's better to fix the problem at the childhood than to go. And it's not about the person, it's about the parents, the teacher, the environment, right? They need to understand that this is something which is going to last long with them. So better to give them better experience which they can remember for life, not the negative or bitter experience which will condition their personality. So that's why it's very important to seed the personality, seed the confidence at that level only. Yeah.
People who are watching this particular talk show, especially where if you are a teacher or maybe a parent, okay, it's very important to give that kind of confidence and approval to your kid, because they only have that confidence which is going to take them to the next level. Because the
Exactly.
moment, because we are a role model for our kid, it's a teacher, it's a grandfather, grandmother, or as a mom or dad. If we disagree or disapprove something, they think that, hey, it's because of me, or maybe I failed to do it. And that will, as you said, like it will definitely last long till the adulthood, and it will become like a huge block in their career growth.
Exactly.
And you said something like NLP technique. So I know definitely you have your own course and you teach people to communicate well, and you also have like a different services professionally. You do that.
Yeah.
But could you help us understand maybe a very simple or a small kind of a technique where people can use it immediately? I know you will not be able to share the whole thing because it will take a time, and also I don't think so this is the place for that. But can you share maybe one technique where they can immediately use it and start seeing a result, not instantly, but at least like in some days?
Yeah, I will give you and your audience a technique which will boost their confidence immediately within seconds.
Sure.
Okay. So this technique is known as, first of all, what is NLP? NLP is neuro linguistic programming. So basically we are rewiring our brain, right? So that whatever conditions, whatever fear, whatever phobia we had in our childhood past experience, we are trying to remove, we try to vanish those experiences and turn them into learning experience, positive experience, right? So this is the overall idea of NLP technique or neuro linguistic programming. Now, one technique which can boost their confidence immediately is known as circle of confidence. Circle of confidence. Okay, say for example you are going to talk something, okay, maybe in on the stage or maybe in a meeting, maybe in a presentation. Imagine that there is a place in front of you, like maybe on stage or on in a meeting room. There is a circle, virtual circle, invisible circle. Okay, that circle is known as confidence. Okay, you get into that circle and you think that circle is giving you confidence, right? And as you get into that circle, virtual circle, your body gets energetic, you are boosted with the confidence, your whole energy vibration is confident, and then whatever you're going to talk, it is going to be effective only, impactful, right? So that is how you have to create a virtual boundary around yourself, that is circle of confidence, and you feel that you are confident in that circle. Your body should be like, right now in that circle you cannot sit lousy. Your back has to be straight, you have to maintain the eye contact, your energy should be full of positivity. So that is how you can use the technique and you can practice it. Like for example, you get into circle, you are confident. You get out of circle, you are normal. So that is how you can use this technique, and it helps a lot and it boosts confidence immediately. So this is the one technique you can use and try immediately.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for sharing that. It's kind of a superpower, because
exactly.
so people have to imagine and visualize that now they are in the circle of confidence. No matter what they are going to do, it is going to just give them a more confident.
Exactly, exactly. Like it is as you said, it's a magical place for them. They get
Hmm.
into that and they get superpower, they speak up. It is going to
Hmm.
be impactful. Yeah, so that is something like that.
Great, great, great. It's just amazing because I know there are so many people who are lacking this, and some want to get out of this. Some are working towards it, and some they just don't want to work it. Maybe like there is number of reason, but
Hmm.
based on my experience, Akansha, this is what because I used to struggle a lot.
Hmm.
I never thought that I will be able to have my own talk show and bringing guests like super guests like you and having a conversation. And this was never my cup of tea. Never at all. Because as I said, my journey, born and brought up in a middle class family, then coming from though studying in English medium but never spoke a word of English. Then I was not able to crack any kind of an interview. Then made a decision. Like you said, you have to accept that there is a change which needs to happen in your life. So I accepted that, hey, I don't know. I don't know how to communicate. I don't know what to say, when to say, how to say. Period. I accepted that. The moment I accepted in my life, I think so. It was after my college when I got dropped out. After that, when I started working, that's when I realized that I am in a very deep hole. I need to come out of this, and one thing which will help me to come out of this deep hole is having a confident communication skills. So when I started working it, I accepted myself, and the moment I accepted myself, then there was no looking back. One leads to another. I started like every day I used to wake up around like 4 o'clock or maybe like 5 o'clock. I used to start reading books, reading aloud. And then I started, there was one of my friend, he used to give us safe space. He was very well versed when it comes to communication. So he gave me a space to speak with him in English and in a proper communication. And wherever I used to do some kind of a mistake, he used to say, don't say
Exactly.
like this, say
Uh,
like this. And
but
I
that
think
was
so.
not a criticism. But that
Yes.
was not a criticism, right? Right now, what is happening with most of the people? People criticize, start criticizing.
They
अरे तुम रहने
mock.
दो यार, तुम हिंदी में ही बोल लो.
Correct. They mock, they bully, and they like make a fun out of it. So that's what people don't want to learn. But that friend gave me a safe space, and I know for sure that one thing is very good about you is because you also have that kind of a community where
Hmm.
you are giving a safe space so that people can do mistake. There is
Yes.
nobody to laugh,
Yes.
so that you can learn from them together, and you are there like to teach them that hey, this is how you need to do, this is how you need to speak.
Exactly.
So this literally it's quite helpful to have these kind of a community, because that time I was not having any kind of a community, and glad I had one person that who was giving me that safe space. So it takes a lot of time, but yes, one day we'll definitely reach it to that particular place. That is the kind of a faith you just need to have, especially for people who wants to learn this. Now,
And
Akansha,
one more
yeah.
thing I can add, Ravi, here,
Mhm.
that nobody is perfect,
Correct.
right? Even you are in a process, I'm in a process, even though I'm a communication coach, but there is always a scope to learn. So
Absolutely.
I would say that do not stop learning that. No, like for example, people might be there who think that, oh no, I know everything and I'm confident enough, I can speak. But think about yourself and think more deeper. You might have some point to improve. So don't think
Hmm.
that your journey will stop here. Your journey has a continuous process which you need to follow. So that is very important to understand. Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, like I say, I take this as a superpower because communication is one of the superpower which you need to have, which will actually boost your confidence to the next level. And there are so many different skills definitely should have in your tool belt as well. But communication, it's very much important. Now,
Yes.
Akansha, like what are some of the myths
Hmm.
which is around, which is around communication and how you can overcome that particular myth. Maybe
Sure.
like if you can help us, maybe the top three myths which is stopping them to communicate confidently.
Sure. So the first myth is that, very important, that if you know you are a good communicator if you can speak English, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so the most important thing, English, like communication is not only about being verbal.
Hmm.
Communication is about being visual, being vocal, and being verbal, right?
Hmm.
And most important, the percentage is, you would be surprised to know that the lowest percentage is a verbal. So there are three V's. One is visual, like your appearance, your body language, your non-verbal communication, your non-verbal cues. That takes 55% in communication. Your vocal variety, your tone, your pace, your pitch, your vocal variety, it takes 38%. And finally, verbal, that only takes 7%. So if you
Hmm.
think that vocabulary, you know English, you are a good communicator, that is a that is a myth, which we need to understand. Second thing is that introvert cannot be effective communicator,
Hmm.
right? That is again a myth. Introversion is a different thing, but being confident and being expressive is a different thing. So that is again a myth. And the third one is, if you know advanced and rich vocabulary and you are using that into your communication, then only you are effective a communicator. So effective communication by definition is that if your words, like if whatever you want to say, it is exactly landing to the recipient, that is effective communication, not the rich word, not the advanced vocabulary. So if the person who is listening to you, he is able to understand your meaning, your purpose, your intent,
Hmm.
you are effective communicator, right? So
Irrespective of the language, English or
exactly,
maybe Marathi or Hindi.
even the non-verbal communication,
Hmm.
right?
Very
So
powerful.
that is something the people have myth and which we need to fix it up.
Absolutely. And you gave us a certain percentage. Now, also, do you think it's very much important when it comes to having an effective communication, okay, which will make you more confident, which is listening? Do you think this is very much important?
Very much, very much. See, the active listening is very underrated skill. And this is the most crucial part of effective listening, because until and unless you listen to other, you
Mhm.
would not be able to understand them. You will not be understand read between, you will not be able to read between the line. Sometimes people not are not expressive, so they are not using the right word what exactly they meant to say, right?
Mhm.
So as a leader, as a colleague, as a working professional, you have to understand what is not being said, and you will be able to understand when they are 100% focused listening them. You are able to understand their body language, and you are able to understand their emotions, and that will happen only and only when you are active in listening. So
Mhm.
yes, listening is very important, and that's where most of the people, 90% people, are lacking, because they are
Mhm.
too busy with their mobile, with their emails, that they listen and they're just hearing, not listening. So
Mhm.
that's the problem.
So there is a two difference. Like when you will get to know the difference between hearing and listening, that's when then the magic starts
Exactly.
unfolding. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
How about you said that it's visual? Visual has a very high percentage. How can that help you to become a confident communicator? Do you think a book is still judged by its cover, or irrespective, like you have a great talent as an employee, as a working professional, you have a great talent, you get the things done, you are someone who always give the projects on time, but when it comes to visual or having that first impression, it's not that up to mark. Do you think that impacts that person's career growth, or it's all about the hard work and talent? That's it.
Okay. So I would take one example, Ravi. See, before 2010, when the
Mhm.
agile method did not come, when the client face role was not there in the market, when the traveling or overseas traveling was not there too much,
Mhm.
right? At
Mhm.
that time, you were sitting behind the computer, you were working with the machine. At that time, you were technically expert, you were good in that. That
Mhm.
was okay. right? If you did not know how to communicate with the client, how to deal with people, how to manage people, how to talk to your team members, that was perfectly fine. But now every role, even irrespective of the industry, you have to talk to people. You have to deal with the people. You have to deal with the vendor. You have to deal with the stakeholders. And for that, you have to have the confidence. And when it comes to confidence, body language matters a lot. Right? Say, for example, if anybody goes to the interview and you are entering, so I always ask this question to my mentees. I ask them, please tell me when your interview starts. The moment when you answer the question or the moment you enter to the room. Right? The answer is that at the moment your interviewer look at you, he had started his interview. Why? Because he is judging your body language. He is judging your facial expression. He is judging your confidence, right? So that is why the way you are coming in, the way you are sitting, the way you are looking at the camera, if it is a virtual interview. So everything matters before even you speak up, utter a word. So that is why your non-body language, non-verbal communication takes a more important, crucial role than the verbal communication. So yes, that's the answer.
It's very important to have that powerful body language as well, because that will also boost your confidence. Now, what are the some habits? Because I see that it's kind of a not a overnight kind of a thing where you can go ahead and learn immediately or instantly, but it can be built through a habit. So let me talk about a habit. Akansha, what do you think that what are the 2 to 3 daily habits which can help instantly to boost someone's communication with confidence over time?
Yeah. Before that, the habit, thankfully, you highlighted that overnight learning, right? So many people come to me that, Akansha, I have an interview in 7 days.
Okay.
Right. And I want to improve my communication because I want to go through that interview. I want to crack that interview. And I always tell them that communication is not something which can be learned overnight. So that is again a myth. I wanted to add that into list of myth. Thanks for highlighting that. So again, it's a myth that communication can be learned when it is needed. No, communication is an overnight journey, is a long time journey. Even I'm in a journey, you are also journey. So it's a in progress method. It's not like you are perfect in that, right? So that is very important to learn communication throughout your life. And now talking about the habit. So see, we have to work on 4 parameters of communication.
Okay.
Very basic parameters. As you said that you have started reading aloud, right? So you were working on your pronunciation, you were working on the words, learning vocabulary. So reading, writing, speaking, and listening. These are the 4 parameters. If you learn these things, you are good in communication. You will be good in communication. But many people say, because we are talking about the working professional and they do not have enough time to do all this practice, what I say them to follow 10-10-10 rule. Now, what is 10-10-10 rule? 10 minutes listening or reading, because thankfully today we have podcasts, today we have videos, we have other methods also. So you don't have to sit at place and read the book, but you have other methods also so that you can work and listen. But listen, not hear. Okay. So first thing, listen to that or read if you can. Second thing, write. Whatever you have listened, you have to write it on your own words. Please do not use chat GPT. Yeah. Use UGPT, right? And then whatever you have written, without referring your notes, speak out and record so that this 10-10-10 minutes process will help you, mostly 30 minutes in a day, right? So that will be more than enough to practice communication if you really want to improve your communication. So this is something you can do only for 21 days and you will see the changes coming in your communication. So that is the method I give immediately, and that is how people can practice. Yeah.
I wish I could have known this earlier, that 10-10-10, because there was no one like to help
us,
me
right?
out. Yes, because it's very powerful. Though we think that, अरे 10 minute में क्या होता
क्या
है?
होगा? Exactly.
10 minute में ही. It's kind of a Rome was not built like in a day. It was built every day.
Yes.
Right. So similarly, that communication, like 10 reading or 10 listening and then 10 writing, all those, like whatever you have said, it's very much important. And I think so if someone who is following this diligently for even just 21 days, I think so that person will be confident at all. He
Exactly.
will be at the next level.
In
And
just 21 days. And
yes,
if you do the same thing for 3 months, 6 months, imagine where you will be, right?
absolutely. So his career will be, I think so, into a next level. Like maybe irrespective of what designation he is right now, he would be into a next position. So
Okay.
I
One
know.
thing, just a second. One thing I want to bridge a gap. Like many
Yes.
people think communication is one thing, how it will help us in career growth. Right? So,
Mm-hmm.
how to link that bridge?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, we had a inner circle in our community, and one
Okay.
of the student had shared her experience
Mm-hmm.
that I shared lots of methods, techniques during our calls. So
Mm-hmm.
last week, I shared one method how to communicate, how to elevate your product, how to talk to your client
Mm-hmm.
effectively so that you can pitch your product in an
Mm-hmm.
effective way. So
Mm-hmm.
there were 2 3 methods which I shared, and she adopted that, she followed that method, and she got revenue generated because of those.
Wow.
So it's a direct impact on how your career, how you can pitch your sale, how can you pitch your product with effective communication with the right techniques. Because communication is a magic. It's not a magic. Everything has a technique, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you adopt those techniques, it will impact your communication and career also. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Absolutely, and this takes me towards the end of this particular show. But before going towards the end, how can someone can learn so many techniques you have in your vault? How can they can also learn? Like for example, people who are watching, they want to improve their communication skill and they want to build that confidence so that they can get that career growth or maybe get a new set of clients. How can someone learn from you? Like what they have to do?
Sure. So to start with, I would be sharing with you one workbook, which is a 3 month workbook, which is a weekly workbook. They can follow the same workbook. They can follow the activities, what is mentioned there, weekly activity. They just follow it and they will be able to improve their communication in just 3 months. In addition to that, if they really want to learn those techniques which I share, they can join and attend my free workshop. So that is also available there. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Like it would be a great help for people because I know the pain is so huge when it comes to that speaking confidently, especially only the people who is going through this pain, they understand what kind of a pain it is. But for someone who is already managed and they know they are very well versed, they won't understand. Because I am saying this from bottom of my heart because I was going through this kind of a pain and it was very painful, very painful. So thanks, you're like glad that you are giving something as a communication workbook. Definitely we will put a link below in the description where you can go ahead and download this workbook, which is absolutely free. And also after that, you want to take your communication skills to the next level, definitely you can get in touch with Akansha and you can join one of her program where she will teach you lots of different techniques. And how can people can follow you on Instagram or like social media? Could you help us with your channel as well?
Sure, I can share the handle also in the link so that they can join, they can follow my YouTube channel, they can follow the Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm more active in LinkedIn, so they can follow. And also, I have a newsletter in LinkedIn, weekly newsletter, so they can follow there also. So,
Absolutely. And what would be the last piece of advice would you like to share when it comes to for the people who is in the fence who think that I don't think so communication is going to help me at all, or maybe any last piece of advice?
yeah, just one thing, Ravi, which you also would be able to relate with,
Mm-hmm.
that communication is an ongoing journey,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to see that when I will become the confident communicator. You have to see that for you, for me, and for anybody who is confident communicator, it's a journey of hard work, dedication, right guidance, and the right. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You cannot achieve anything. Leave the communication. You cannot achieve anything without getting out of your comfort zone. So we have in my community, we follow a model which is known as Trinity Divine Model, which includes Iksha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. So if you have a strong willpower to achieve anything, you have to gather the power of knowledge and you have to have the power of execution. These three things will help you to achieve anything. So if you have any goal, any dream in your life, follow this model and you will be able to achieve. That is it.
That was quite interesting, and I think so. In the end, we got some interesting things which to be shared, like where you shared the Trinity Divine model. So same similar to this, like the Akansha is having so many different techniques which you can go ahead and learn, because this is what I see. Like if you really want to learn, go and learn from the best. If you really want to learn something, go and learn from someone who has already done it, because there is no point of getting stuck in your life and just thinking of seeing here and there, and with a blink of eyes you see that you are already past 40, 50 years, instead of taking that chance. And I see, Akansha, that it's not too late when it comes, irrespective of age, because I clearly remember, like I was literally struggling with this, having that confidence in my communication skills at the age like 2010 and 2011. I started very late because I thought that, hey, I am getting too old, it's time for me to accept myself and turn that weakness into the strength. So I don't think so that age should be like, because there would be so many people, Akansha, you can also relate to that, especially when it comes to a working professional. They are not getting a promotion just because of this. They are at the same place, at the same company, just because they don't know how to speak confidently in the meeting, or maybe like in having some kind of a discussion in the project. So people, if you are watching this, especially these kind of a people, there is someone who can definitely guide you, because I was there at that particular place and I know how painful is that. It's always good to ask for a help, and there are so many
And
people
just
will
one
have it.
one thing to add, since you mentioned about the age is not the number. So I have one student in my community. She is 70. And
70.
why she is learning communication? Because 70, 70, 70.
Oh.
And she wants to learn communication because her daughter-in-law is foreigner and she is not able to communicate with her effectively.
Oh.
So that's why she wanted to improve her communication, and that's why she has joined this community. So
See,
yeah, age is just a number.
absolutely. So, irrespective at what place you are, at what designation you are, this is just going to help you. There is no harm in like learning this one of the powerful skill. So Akansha, yeah, well, thank you so much for giving such a great guidance, the NLP techniques, the 10-10-10 rule, and the Trinity divine models, so many things. And yes, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for like bringing your experience and knowledge and sharing to our audience, so that they can take their communication skill to the next level.
Thank you, Ravi. And I would be more than happy if this conversation would help others to improve their communication. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for your time. Goodbye. Thanks.